You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I am back, Rudrance, for Black and White Sports 2. Well, as we do every week on Monday mornings, we're going to talk about the XFL. We're going to talk about the attendance there. We're going to talk a little bit about Rod Woodson losing his ever-loving mind. And he did yesterday. He lost his mind. Man, I tried to find video of him so we could look at his full, unadulterated tirade he had on the sidelines. I come to learn something about XFL fans in Orlando and in Vegas. They absolutely hate Terrell Buckley and Rod Woodson. I'm like, wow, okay. I actually like Terrell Buckley. I mean, I think he is fully self-aware. He was none too happy yesterday with Robert Ford at all at OC for keeping Paxton Lynch in that game. He wanted DeAndre Francois. I can't say I blame him. So, as you can expect, we're going to start with the St. Louis Battlehawks, who, well, for lack of a better way of putting it, the Battlehawks fans showed their asses yesterday. And this is what we'd love to see. I've said before, look, I'm going to be objective. There's going to be times, no matter what, I've got to be negative because I'm not going to get on here to lie to people about things like attendance and ratings. Now, the ratings have kind of been dropping, but at the same time, at least the networks have realized we've got to get some of these games back on actual ABC, actual ESPN, not ESPN2, not FX. And that didn't happen this weekend, but it's coming starting this week. There is one ESPN game, and the ratings will be up for that game. I mean, it just is what it is. It's got to do with the number of potential households that can be reached for these games. And honestly, you know what I'd love to see them experiment with? I would love to see them experiment with an actual network OTA ABC game on a Thursday night. I'd like to see that. Like, how many eyes would go on that game? I think it would be an interesting test because I wonder if they couldn't draw 2 to 3 million viewers maybe on a Thursday night on actual free antenna TV. Because you just, you know, if that's how you run your television situation, you don't have a hell of a lot of live sports options during the week at night, right? Although you will during the NC2A tournament. XFL attendance record set. Over 38,000 fans pack into St. Louis to watch the Battlehawks. I've got NFL draft diamonds on a couple of these, and then we got a little Twitter action going on. The XFL attendance has not been very good this year, but in week 4 of the XFL, a record was broke. In St. Louis' first home game this year, Battlehawks faithful showed up in droves. They were actually tailgating starting around 7 a.m. up in St. Louis. This is absolutely what The Rock envisioned, and I think it's what he thought he was going to get in Orlando. I really do, because the AEF Orlando team drew really well down there. The Battlehawks fans were loud, packed the dome. They had 38,310 in attendance. By the way, that is a record for any professional spring football league in the U.S. since the early 90s. This is the largest attended game, and there it is, 1990s. So, that really got the overall attendance figures up for the XFL. XFL attendance in week 4 comes super close to 75,000 total fans. Got a huge boost in week 4, of course, thanks to that Battlehawk turnout. You did have San Antonio versus the Seattle Sea Dragons, 15,103. Attendance did go up a little bit there in Seattle. That's a good sign. However, attendance went down in D.C., and one of the things I'm noticing is when it comes to these XFL games, weather is a factor. Okay, the fact is NFL fans are going to pack in during bad weather. They're not going to care. They're going to potentially sell out an NFL stadium if it is 5 degrees and snowing, in Buffalo or somewhere like that, they're still going to try to pack it. In the XFL, that's just not going to happen, okay? The names, the product's not big enough. Houston Roughnecks, Orlando Guardians, 10,013. DC Defenders, Vegas Vipers, 11,521. Total fans in attendance, Week 4, 74,947. That was an average of 18,737 fans. I did want some context. I came over to the AAF, and the AAF had a couple of weeks where they drew 76,838, 78,494, and those were weeks that, like this first week right here, San Antonio 27,857, Orlando 20,919, and this is what I mean by Orlando with the AAF: 23,904, 18,358. I mean, they drew 19,000 fans in Orlando. Okay, and I think The Rock believed that was going to happen for the XFL. I thought it was going to happen. I thought there were certain places where the XFL could be successful in their attendance. And by the way, there was one weekend of the previous incarnation of the XFL. It was, I believe it was this, it might have been week 4 or 5. I figured it up earlier, but it was over 81,000 fans. Okay, so they didn't break an overall week average on this for attendance, but look, they got in the ballpark this week, and it's a good sign. Now, next week, on the other hand, let's just take a look, because they are playing in Seattle, they are playing in St. Louis, and word has it they may open up another 2,000 to 7,000 seats for that St. Louis Battlehawks game against the Defenders. I mean, this is the closest thing we've got to a rivalry in the XFL at this point. They're both in the North Division. They both got good teams, and they both got good records. It's a shame that game right there is not on network television or actually on ESPN. It's on FX. This Houston Roughnecks Seattle Sea Dragons game is on ESPN, but it's got a 9:30 Central start time. I mean, that's brutal. It's just brutal. But that's a Seattle game, so you're going to have a later start. And San Antonio is at home next week. Okay? So San Antonio is going to draw around 25,000. St. Louis is going to potentially draw around 40,000. I think next week, week 5, is the weekend where you will potentially see the largest attendance in the history of the XFL, both in 2020 and this time. Not the first time around, okay? I mean, the first time around, there were a couple of really large weekends to sort of start the league back when Vince McMahon first started it, 20 years ago. This is a little video of Rod Woodson losing it right here. And he's not really talking to the ref. I mean, he is. He's mouthing. He's pissed. But I wish I could have gotten the full video here, because Rod Woodson on the sideline, of course, he's an NFL Hall of Famer. Now, there he is. He's going back at the ref. But he lost it at the ref, okay? I mean, absolutely lost it at the officials, and I'm going to tell you why. It was determined Luis Perez didn't quite get into the end zone, okay? As the runner, he's the quarterback, but he was running the ball in. They stopped him just shy. It was determined. Dean Blandino, I mean, it was a head-over officiating in the NFL at one point. He stepped in. He was watching it. They showed us that process. And what happened was, you were at the very end of the half. Well, they determined that because he was short, there would have been what they considered to be a 10-second runoff. Well, instead of giving them an opportunity to line up and try to put the ball in, quarterback sneak or whatever, because, I mean, they're at the 1-inch line at this point. They said there was a 10-second runoff, and it was the end of the half. And Rod Woodson lost his mind. I mean, he threw his headset down and just went nuts on the sideline. I can't believe there is no video of this anywhere online. I wanted to show it, but there wasn't. There wasn't any video of it, and it was one of the more standout moments of the weekend in the XFL. Come on, XFL, you got to get a little of that video out there. Reminiscent of Terrell Buckley on the sideline week 1 being like, these guys don't want to play, I need new players. I still like Terrell Buckley, even if that Orlando team is struggling. And look, Terrell Buckley, if you're going to be a head coach in professional football, you've got to be able to walk over to Robert Ford and say, look, we are playing DeAndre Francois. We're not playing Paxton Lynch. Bench his ass and put the other quarterback in. Do not put Paxton Lynch back in until I tell you it's okay. But he did not do that, okay? And he's got to know. He's got to be able to override the OC there on the spot. And I understand Paxton Lynch had a touchdown and a blah, blah, blah. After the fact, doesn't matter, okay? Robert Ford works for you, Terrell Buckley. And we would be having a conversation today as to whether or not Robert Ford wanted to continue as the OC of the Orlando Vipers. Or Orlando Guardians, excuse me. But you get the point. I just wouldn't have that. I wouldn't let him be insubordinate. And he wouldn't tell me who was going to play quarterback on my team. As part of being making the tough decision. I mean, do you think Bill Parcells would have let that slide? Probably not, you know. So I can't believe I can't get video for Rod Woodson. But anyway, he lost his mind, and maybe that video will surface somewhere. Next week, attendance. San Antonio's at home. St. Louis is at home with them opening up more seats. By the way, and that's the one other thing maybe I still got. I can show you guys. This little graphic came out yesterday. Kroenke sucks. Of course, that is Stan Kroenke, who moved the Rams out of St. Louis to L.A. By the way, they don't draw a great home crowd in L.A. They don't. That was partially Robert Kraft. Jerry Jones got involved there. Goodell. And they wanted that television market in L.A. It had less to do with attendance as it did the TV market in L.A. But anyway, they love pro football. A lot of XFL fans in St. Louis are pushing for them to open up all 67,000 seats. They think they can sell the whole thing out. I don't know about that, but if they could, it'd be a great look for the town and the league. Next week, San Antonio's at home, St. Louis is at home, Seattle's at home. That's got a chance to be the largest XFL attendance weekend in the history, 2.0 and 3.0. And bigger than anything the AAF did. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.